felt too easy.
In our last video, we talked about some of the unexpected benefits of tiny camping. In this video, we'll talk about some things about tiny camping that are harder than we expected.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today.
Well, I'm trying to do some different things here. Trying to get some nice tulip shots, but I'm also trying to get something artistic as well. Doing some intentional motion photography with some really slow shutter speeds and actually moving the camera. And I'm also trying to get some actually good flower portraits.
Intentional camera movement, or ICM, is a photography style that breaks all the rules, but it can have some very artistic outcomes. These two images are what I feel are the best that I came away with. Let me know your thoughts on them in the comments below.
Morning.
Good morning.
Today is our last day at Holland State Park. We're getting ready to pack up and head home. But first, we're gonna take a short day trip to Windmill Island.
Yes. It's kind of one of the iconic tourist attractions here in Holland. So
Yeah.
Neither one of us have been there since we were kids.
Right. We know that there's a windmill that is, I think it said 125 years old. It's over 100 anyway. And then
Which is older than us, by the way.
Thanks. And then they have a lot of tulip gardens. We are a week before the Holland Tulip Festival, which is the big festival here in Holland for the year.
Yeah.
So we're gonna check those out, and I know that we're a little early for the tulips, but we've seen some around town, so we're hoping that we'll be able to at least enjoy some of the beauty from that.
Yeah, it should be fun.
So anyway, before we pack up, I just wondered, how did you sleep last night?
I slept okay. You know, in our last video, we talked about some unexpected benefits of tiny camping. And this one, we're going to talk about some of the things that are harder than expected, than what we had expected. And getting a good night's sleep has been one of them.
Right.
Whether it's due to the mattress situation or regulating the temperature inside the tiny camper, that's always, especially in the cold weather, that's kind of been an issue.
Yep.
What else?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, it seems like every time we go out camping, the weather is slightly different and the temperature is slightly different. So you think you have it figured out, and then you have to figure it out again. It's kind of like parenting, where you think you figure out how to deal with that specific child, and as soon as you get that figured out, they change.
Right.
And that's sort of what it's been like for us.
Well, even throughout a single night, as the temperature drops, you might have a heater running, but you keep a window cracked open for ventilation, and then you get waken up, and then you get woken up because you're cold because of the cold air coming in. So you got to close the window a little bit, or then you get too hot later on, and so you open it back up a little bit.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So anyway, I would like to say that all of these issues we're going to bring up have solutions, and there are things that we're working out and getting better at. But just initially, they were things that were a little harder than we had expected.
Right, for sure.
So anyway, I think we should go ahead and get packed up and head to Windmill Island.
Let's do it.
And I will try to fix what has been broken, and take this weight off my shoulders, 'cause I know yesterday ain't coming back. I'm gonna let the past stay in the cold. Listen to the ocean, let its unsaid words be spoken, and I'll let my mind.
That felt too easy.
Yeah, that went pretty quick. Did we forget something?
It feels like we forgot something.
Packing up has been getting easier and quicker every time we do it, so that's a good thing.
It is. We've both really like checklists, and we have a checklist for when we're packing up, and we have a checklist for when we're packing to go on a trip too. But it seems like following that checklist is getting faster and faster.
Yeah, it goes quick, but that's the thing. That's the trap we don't want to fall into, though, is thinking we did everything without double checking the checklist.
Right, because I could have very easily forgotten to turn off the max air fan and shut that before we left, because it's so quiet you don't really realize it's still running.
Right.
So anyway, but the checklist helps us make sure we don't forget anything. So anyway, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're headed to Windmill Island.
Let's go.
So I can see the light.
So I will give you a little run through to help you guys.
Thank you.
So I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
Our miller can come over here and climb up this lattice. Okay, this is her safety harness that she would hook into her back.
Another thing that has been surprisingly difficult for us has been going from bed mode to table mode and back.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen YouTube videos where people kind of complain about that, and so they just leave it in bed mode all the time. And I always thought they were just kind of being lazy, or just, I don't know. I didn't think it would be as big a deal as what everybody made it out to be. And yeah, it is kind of a pain though.
It is. And the part that's actually the hardest is taking all the bedding on and off.
Yeah.
The mattress part, converting it from bed to table, isn't that terrible, but taking the bedding on and off is a real workout.
Kind of looks like a wrestling match between her and the sheets.
Yeah, I keep my Fitbit on so that I can record some steps with that whole process.
Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see.
I wondered how they keep the deer out from eating tulips, because deer like to eat tulips.
They must be tasty.
And now I've figured it out. This is why we can't have tulips at our house. We have daffodils. Deer don't like daffodils, but they love tulips.
Yeah.
And there's fences.
See the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go.
Another thing that is a little bit difficult about tiny camping is just keeping everything organized. If you use something, you got to put it away almost immediately. Mm-hmm. You can't just leave it out, otherwise, because there's just not much place to store stuff or to put stuff.
Right, yeah, and it's going to be really important for us for everything to have a place, but that's going to require a little bit of modification to make that happen.
Right.
So each time we go out, we're noticing it gets a little bit better because we figure out specific spots for things, and we are adding some command strips, and we'll be adding some shelving, and we'll go into all of that in a different video, but that definitely was surprising how quickly you used up the
counter space.
Yeah.
Everything just kind of, if you're not careful, everything just explodes all over the place, and you feel a little bit claustrophobic.
Right, kind of like at home, only times 100. Another thing that surprised us about tiny camping is how small it would feel.
That's very true. When I first walked in and sat down in this thing, I just was like, what did we get ourselves into?
A little bit claustrophobic.
Well, yeah, it felt smaller than I imagined it would. I mean, I knew the dimensions going into it, but I just didn't realize how small it would really feel.
Right. we have to say it is getting a little bit better, that we're getting used to moving together and doing
Right.
things in such a way that we aren't bumping into each other as much.
Right. I mean, we're kind of learning to dance on a very small dance floor.
Right, and do things together instead of just doing what I want to do. We sort of coordinate and make sure that we're doing it together,
No sudden movements.
and that does help.
What are your impressions of Windmill Island?
It's a cute local attraction. It's the main. The birds are kind of loud. The main draw is the windmill, being able to go in the windmill and do the little self-guided tour, and the flower gardens, but we're a bit early for the flowers.
Right, yeah. There's only maybe a small portion of them that were blooming, so.
Right, but there is a carousel, and there's a play area, and there's a gift shop, and there's like a replica of a village in Holland. So it's got some cute things to it, but it's nothing that's going to take you more than maybe an hour to go through. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, depends on how fast you walk. But.
Right. And if you want to stop and take pictures of a whole bunch of tulips or something like that might take you longer.
That was nice.
Yeah.
We never thought that tiny camping would be easy, and we did our best to prepare ourselves for how hard it might be. Preparing for anything unknown is a difficulty in and of itself. But as we learn more, we grow more, and things become less difficult with time. It's all a part of the journey we're on, to boldly go where no one has.
Hey, sweetie,
Yeah?
your nerdiness is showing.
Oh, sorry. It's all a part of the journey we're on, to travel more with less. And more importantly, to do it together. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video, as we head to one of the top-rated campgrounds in the country. Thanks for watching, and until next time, go out and live your best life, one adventure at a time.